listen, I'm not really the guy who believes in the paranormal. I'm Ethan, 21, data analyst and a professional at burning the candle at both ends. My life is basically just a feedback loop of Excel spreadsheets, lukewarm coffee, and enough instant ramen to keep a salt mine in business. No social life, no girlfriend, just me and the blue light of my monitor until my eyes feel like they're bleeding. It was a Tuesday, around 11 p.m. The office was dead. You know that kind of heavy, pressurized silence? The kind where you feel like the building itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen? That was the vibe. I was grinding through a massive project because I'd promised my mom I'd actually show up for our family beach trip the next day. I didn't want to be the guy working on his laptop while everyone else was catching waves. By 12:21 a.m., I finally clicked save. Oh, God, I'm toasted, I mumbled to the empty cubicles. I leaned back, my neck popping like bubble wrap. I figured I'd just rest my eyes for a second before grabbing my keys. Huge mistake. The next thing I knew, I wasn't sitting, I was drifting. Everything was blurry, like I was looking through a thick sheet of ice. But when the fog cleared, my heart didn't just drop, it stopped. I was hovering in the middle of the office, looking down at the back of my own head. There I was, Ethan, slumped in that overpriced ergonomic chair, mouth slightly open, fast asleep. I tried to reach out, to touch my own shoulder, but I didn't have hands. I was just this weightless consciousness, a silver flicker of energy pulsing under the flickering fluorescent lights. For about 10 seconds, it felt like a trip. I drifted through a cubicle wall like it was smoke. I'm astral projecting, I thought. This is insane. But then, the air changed. It got heavy. Not just heavy, vile, like the smell of stagnant water and old copper. I looked back at my sleeping body, and the cool factor vanished instantly. I was paralyzed by pure, unadulterated terror. They were crawling all over me. These things, they weren't ghosts. They were humanoid shapes made of pure, suffocating shadow, their skin looking like shifting oil smoke. And they were covered in eyes. Hundreds of wet, blinking, yellow eyes that didn't seem to have lids. They were draped over my shoulders, whispering into my sleeping ears, their long, spindly fingers kneading into my chest. One of the shadows, the biggest one, started to sink. It didn't just touch me. It began to merge. Its smoke-like torso was melting into my ribs, claiming my heartbeat, preparing to slide into my skin like a hand into a glove. Panic flared like a white-hot signal. I knew with a certainty that chilled me to the core that if that thing finished merging, the Ethan currently floating in the air would have nowhere to go. I'd be locked out of my own life. I dove. I didn't have a voice, but I was screaming with every fiber of my soul as I hurtled toward my physical self. Get out! Get out! Get out! I snapped awake with a gasp so violent it felt like my lungs were tearing. I was back in the chair. I was drenched in sweat, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. But the horror wasn't over. I could still feel the phantom pressure of those cold, oily fingers on my skin. The room looked empty, but it felt crowded. It felt like the shadows were just waiting for the dust to settle. 3, 2, 1. I didn't grab my bag. I didn't even grab my phone. I just ran. My sneakers squealed on the linoleum as I sprinted for the elevators. I made the mistake of glancing back. They weren't hiding anymore. A swarm of those multi-eyed freaks was pouring out of the ceiling tiles, gliding across the floor with a terrifying liquid speed. They weren't making a sound, which was somehow worse. I burst into the lobby, nearly taking out the night guard, a guy named Ray who usually spent his shift reading paperbacks. My frantic rambling and shaking hands woke him up pretty quick. I expected him to laugh, to call building security, or maybe a psych ward. Instead, Ray just stared at the floor. He let out a long, shaky sigh and rubbed the back of his neck. "You're lucky, kid," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Most people don't wake up in time. Those things, they're scavengers. They wait for the exhausted ones. See, when you push yourself past the breaking point, your soul gets loose. It slips out because you're too tired to hold on to it. And that's when they step in." He looked me dead in the eye, and I saw a flicker of genuine pity there. They don't have a name, but once they're in your body, you never get it back. You just become a passenger in your own life while something else pulls the strings. I didn't go back for my stuff until the next afternoon, and I brought 3 friends with me. I never worked a minute of overtime after that. No promotion, no salary bump, and no deadline is worth losing your seat to the things that live in the dark. Now, when the clock hits 5, I'm the first one out the door, because I know what's waiting for me to get tired. And I'm never letting go again.